Welcome. Today we're going to explore a pretty simple but really powerful idea. How completely transforming that first hour of your day can set the stage for, well, your entire day, and maybe even your entire life. So let's just start with a big question here. What if the real secret to hitting your goals, feeling more focused, and just living the life you actually want wasn't some huge, complicated strategy? What if it was hiding in the first 60 minutes of your day? You know that feeling? For so many of us, the day feels like an uphill battle right from the start. That's because our brains are already jumping into this state of hyperactivity, just analyzing, worrying, and planning. Our focus and our willpower, they're practically gone before we've even had that first sip of coffee. Okay, so let's dive into how we can fix that, starting with our first framework. This one comes from author Robin Sharma and his book, The 5 a.m. Club, and it's all centered around this powerful concept he calls the victory hour. Now, the science behind waking up at 5 a.m. is based on this state called transient hypofrontality. I know that sounds super complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. At 5 a.m., the part of your brain that worries and criticizes, your inner critic, is still kind of sleepy. It's temporarily quiet. And this little window allows you to get into that amazing state of flow where your creativity and focus just peak. So that victory hour is broken down into this really simple 20-20-20 formula. It starts with 20 minutes to move. We're talking intense exercise that actually makes you sweat. Then you move into 20 minutes to reflect through things like journaling or meditation. And you finish it all off with 20 minutes to grow by reading a book, listening to a podcast, or studying something new. Okay, so that's our first framework. But what if waking up at 5 a.m. sounds, well, a little insane? Don't worry, you'll probably appreciate this next one. It's Hal Elrod's The Miracle Morning, and it offers a much more flexible approach. This method has been adopted by millions of people, literally. And the core idea here isn't about a specific time on the clock. It's more about a commitment. Just wake up 1 hour earlier than you normally would and dedicate that time to you. Its power really is in its simplicity, and you'll see a very memorable acronym. All right, so let's break this down. The whole framework is built around these 6 powerful practices called the Life Savers. You got silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing, which, by the way, is just a fancier way of saying journaling. The general idea is to spend about 10 minutes on each one. So there you have it. 2 fantastic frameworks. One is pretty rigid and disciplined, while the other is way more flexible and customizable. But the real question, the one that matters most, is how do you make a morning routine work for you? Because this is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. Let's just put them side by side for a second. This makes the difference crystal clear, right? The 5 a.m. Club is built around that strict 5 a.m. wake-up call and the 20-20-20 formula. The Miracle Morning, on the other hand, is more like a toolkit of practices that you can adapt to whatever time works best for you. And this is where the focus really shifts away from their systems and onto your life. The very first step in building your own routine is to just assess where you're at. A tool like the Wheel of Life can help you rate your satisfaction in key areas. And this helps you figure out what Hal Elrod calls your level 10 goals, the parts of your life you really, really want to improve. Now here's the crucial part. You do not have to jump into a full hour-long routine from day one. In fact, it's probably better if you don't. The Miracle Morning actually has a fast start plan. Just set your alarm 30 minutes earlier and pick one of the SAVRSs to practice. That's it. This taps into the power of small wins. When you start with a goal you can actually achieve, you build momentum. The goal here is progress, not perfection. Okay, so this brings us to the most important part of all. We've got the theory, we've got the tools, but how in the world do we turn these ideas into a lasting habit that actually changes our lives? Both frameworks completely agree on this. Consistency is absolutely everything. Committing to a 30-day challenge is a super powerful way to build a new habit, and using a simple tracker gives you visual proof of your progress, which makes the whole thing feel more real, more tangible. It triggers that desire to not break the chain. Seriously, don't underestimate the power of seeing those check marks line up day after day. So as you start to think about how you'll wake up tomorrow, I want to leave you with this really powerful idea from Hal Elrod. He said, where you are is a result of who you were, but where you go depends entirely on who you choose to be. And that choice, the choice to become the person who can achieve everything you want, it really starts with how you spend your morning. So, What are you going to choose?